Hello, Governor. Welcome back to another episode.
Hey guys, Future Sam here. I just wanted to pop into this Doodle Talk you're watching real quick and let you know I've changed the order that I release this episode, and then what should be the one before it. I'll be talking in this episode like it's episode 39, but because I talked about the live action One Piece show in what would have been episode 40, and I wanted to get that out sooner because it had just come out, it was more topical, I ended up switching these around. So if you're seeing me, Future Sam here, that's kind of what's going on. If there's any weird kind of confusion or like things don't make any sense, not that there should be a lot of stuff that would be that way anyway. That's why. Just wanted to give a little heads up and enjoy the rest of the podcast. See ya. What's up, all you doodles and doodlers out there, you schemers and dreamers, and welcome back to another episode of Doodle Talk. This one should be episode 39, I believe. Come on in. Hey, it's been a while, you know? It's been a while since it's just been me and you know? We've had a few guests on recently, and I hope you enjoyed those episodes, but hey, it's time for a one-on-one. So come on in, sit down, you can use that chair over there, yeah, that one. Yep, no, not that one. Move that. Yeah, move that out of the way. You can grab the other one, the one next. The one right next to that, yes. No, not the beanbag's mine. Don't use that. Yes, that chair. Yes. Okay, you can use that chair. But yeah, make that one chair. Yes, that one chair you can use. Yes, only that one. I don't want to raise my voice. I don't want to raise my voice right now. Just that one chair. That one chair is fine. You can use that one. Okay. All right. Great. Now that that's settled, let's get started. And the last thing I want to talk about before I get into like kind of the main topic here is a dope game that came out recently called Rush Cyberfunk. And I mean, can you tell it's cool just by that name? So this is like a really cool, I was thinking about it earlier, and it's kind of like the spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. If you ever played Jet Set Radio, I never really played it as a kid. I think I messed around with it a little bit, like at a friend's house, or like rented it from Blockbuster maybe. But it was kind of like a cool, you're like a rollerblader and you're going around the city. I don't really remember as like what the actual game was about. Like you can, you hit up some graffiti and tag stuff and like rollerblade around. And there's like, it's a pirate radio guy, and like he's connected in this story, and I think that has to do with the main storyline. I'm really sorry, I don't remember like anything about the game, because I just remember like the visuals are so cool. It definitely has that kind of like early 2000s low poly grungy skater blocky aesthetic, but with more of like a neon bright color take on that. And it's like if you took like grungy skate vibes with like Neon Tokyo anime vibes and like put them together, like that's what that game would be. And Rush Cyberfunk looks so amazing. It looks sick, dude. And you can skate in this one too. I looked up like the synopsis, sounds really cool. You're like a person and you're living in New Amsterdam or whatever is like the city, and you lose your head and you get like a cyber head, and then you meet these people that are part of a gang, like a group of people, and then you figure out all this stuff. I don't know. I don't think that's any spoilers. That's just the synopsis. So sounds really cool, and it's just crazy because like not crazy, but it's really fun timing because recently I'm still working on Blender, getting a little bit better too. I made a lantern the other day and figured out how to like do some lighting where I couldn't light it from the inside because I use the Eevee render system instead of Cycles, which it's just two different ways you render it. Eevee is better if you don't have the GPU. Like I don't have a crazy GPU computer or like a GPU in my computer. So I had to like finagle some lighting and like kind of trick it to make it look like it's working. But it's cool because I'm finally getting to the stage where I can do those kinds of things without just like one-to-one following a tutorial. I'm able to like move around in the software and stuff too, so it's cool. Blender's going well, and if things keep going well, I like the next thing I'm doing is like starting to test out some projects with this, so that'll be awesome. I don't know if those will end up being able to use those as like major projects or into YouTube videos, but I don't really care. I really want to learn it, so I will be making some cool art with it though. But sorry, all that aside, I've been getting into that, right? And I've been really liking this kind of there's a huge niche right now of like it's like fuck, what is it? The drums? I forgot what beat break drums, where it's like think of just like oh god, I don't know, but it's like, you know, it's like a subgenre of music where it's kind of like beat, I believe it's called beat break. I'm really sorry, break beat, if I'm fucking that up, I'm really sorry. I don't know why, it just like went off the top of my head. But it's like that music and mixed with like a bunch of different styles of like, you know, high paced like house music, and they're combining it with basically like recreations of a lot of like low poly late 90s early 2000 games. Think of like the Wind Waker with its like tune shading and stuff like that, or Jet Set Radio, or even as far back as like N64 Mario, and you know, all those, like, you know, because you look at N64 Mario, you know, it's like rectangular, like you can see all the edges and vertices and stuff. So there's kind of been a renaissance the past like 3-4 years, I'd say, of people just getting really fucking amazing at Blender and some of these 3D softwares, and like making their own like little independent animations of like some of the stuff, and holy shit, dude, it's so cool. And I've been, you know, just learning about it recently, getting into it more recently. I've followed some people for the past year or two, but I know I talked about Dedu's earlier as well, but his is kind of a different style. This is more of a kind of smaller niche, but it seems like it's getting popular. A lot of people on Instagram that I've seen recently, but I've been getting into that a lot lately. And Cyberfunk, the Bomb Rush Cyberfunk came out, and it's kind of like an homage to that style, you know, a awesome game, like I said, like the spiritual successor of Jet Set Radio in all aspects, including like the visual aesthetics and stuff. So super cool. I want to check it out. I don't have time to play it right now, but it's only like $30-$40, so I'm gonna try and get it on the Switch soon and play it. Maybe I can, yeah, I don't know, I'll find some time soon and play it. I'll let you guys know. And if you've never heard of it, you should check it out. If you like that kind of stuff, it's super sick, and I think you will like it. And yeah, so to jump into the topic, I was kind of unsure what to talk about today, and something that's kind of I've been thinking a lot about lately, and kind of just noticing a lot, is like trends on mostly just TikTok and Instagram, and like how much they kind of influence what everyone does. I know and I know that's not a novel idea. Trends influence what people do, but it's just like, and a lot of what I notice is with the music, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I know some people have talked about this before, where it's like, people, if you're an indie musician now, back in the day, you used to, you know, you might try and blow up on Facebook or get your music out there on SoundCloud, get a mixtape that pops off, like Odd Future, you know, like Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, all them. They had a dope mixtape that just went around and then blew up off of like SoundCloud. And then Yonkers came out, and then they were like the biggest thing in the world. Or not the world, but you know, they were huge in North America. And I know like a lot of bands back, I think like Fleet Foxes, even Robin Pecknold was saying that like they put their first EP out on like Facebook and it blew up, and that's how they were able to like get out of Seattle and start like touring the country a little bit. So I'm just trying to say, like, there were these different methods now, methods than from what people use now. And nowadays, it seems like people, like, you make a TikTok and make an Instagram, and then you kind of like, it's really interesting. And by the way, I'm not trying to throw shade on any of it's really interesting to see, because I stopped promoting my music publicly back when it was still basically just like Facebook and like early Instagram days, right? So I was kind of more of that era. And I actually have an idea for a podcast that I want to do towards the end of the year, where I'm going to talk about the music that I like this year and talk about that in further detail. But now you got people, you make an online presence, and then you basically just try and sell a single. And once the single pops off, then you try and maybe get up to an EP, and then you try and release that. And what everyone's trying to do nowadays is like get them to sign up for or save your pre-release. And I'm guessing that's just like a metric that they use now to see how many like people are interested, and to see how many listens and plays you're gonna get. And then obviously, if you get a ton of plays on Spotify or something, then it gets promoted through different like radio stations. It's really interesting too, like the UK scene, because I follow a few musicians in the UK, and I've seen them blow up over the past couple years, where it's really cool to see. But it's like they have a single that does well, or they make a little music video for it, and then it blows up, and then they're promoting it all themselves. There's no more labels for a lot of these people, right? Which is cool. I really love that. I love taking the power back to the individual. But it's almost like it's almost harder in some ways, because it's like, if you want to make a full album, it's really difficult, because it seems like people are just stuck to like selling singles and trying to get as many plays on that single, and then getting like the BBC, Radio 4, someone to pick that up, and then you get your music played on BBC, which is awesome. That's really cool. But if you don't have a proper like EP or an album, then you're kind of just stuck in this weird like infinite loop of like trying to get people to just listen to your music one by one, or like people know people now just from singles, and they don't even know who the artist is. They just know it because they see a song name that scrolls across the top of TikTok or Instagram. It's never been like that before. And this is where I'm tying it all back in, because artists are kind of doing the same thing, but it'll be like a reel that they use making a trending song or a sound, right? It's not even just songs, it's sounds now too. And this is all super interesting to me, and I watch it. I don't really participate in a lot of trends or anything like that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm not one of those people who does well. I'm really bad at like, if it's not something I'm 100% super interested in, it's gonna come off as not genuine from me. It's gonna be very ingenuine. Is that a word? Ingenuine? Ingenuous? Oh my god. It won't be genuine from me. And it'll be easy to tell. Like if I was trying to, I don't know, if I was trying to sell you a product that like, it's like Dove hair soap for women. Like, why, Sam? That's obviously you're not using that product. That's the best example I could think of. Sorry, but you get what I mean, right? And you see all these artists changing the way they work, and that was like more the musician side. But it kind of works for drawing, illustration, animation artists as well, and it's kind of mixed. And this was the really interesting thing that I kind of noticed, right? It's because it's like, you have all these musicians where it's like, I mean, I could tell you, just people overuse them too, which is kind of like one of the things I wanna talk about. Because my whole thought process on this is like, are trends good? Are trends bad? Are they neutral? And it's just like, if you use them too much, then it becomes overbearing and annoying, or just monotonous, which is kind of what I'm thinking. My thought right now is like, trends are a tool and you can use them if you need them, but if that's all you do, then you're not building any kind of like personality, or like any things that are just you. And if you don't use them at all, you can fade into obscurity, and you might just come off as somebody who's like not willing to like work with others, or not supportive of a community or something like that, right? So this is the kind of like what I've been kind of going over in my head recently, and then especially today as I was thinking about it, that's how I kind of like formed my thoughts there, like in the form of this kind of general question about it. Like, is it good? Is it bad? And how are people using it? And I don't know. I think, and I'll tell you why it's kind of become more of a prevalent thing. It's because, like, Jesus Christ, dude. If I hear the same fucking song, like, if I hear the same fucking 2 or 3 songs 100 million times from every single, like, reel or people, like, just using it, like, I get super annoyed. I will, like, immediately click off of something if it's just, like, the same kind of, like, trendy little thing that people are doing. And it's like, I don't know if that's just me being like mean or like mean's not the right word, but like judgy or something. I don't know if that's the case, but to me, just personally, if I hear that fucking I think it's called like Golden Hour is a song, and it's that like piano bit where it's like dun, 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 and like the arpeggios come in. Cool song. The first like 10 times I heard it, I was like, wow, that's really cool. I love the like the swell in the beginning, and then it goes into these really nice piano arpeggiated kind of section. And again, this is no fault to the creator, no fault to the musicians, the people who made this. I want to stress this. I am not hating on anybody who has created like a video or music or a draw this in your style or something like that, where like it has just blown up, because at that point it's really not their fault either, and it's like that's giving them exposure. I'm totally okay with that, but at the same time, it's like I want to just reach out my arms and grab the community as a whole and just be like, guys, fucking don't use the same shit every single goddamn time, and like let's kind of like branch out and do some other things here, where it's like it's really crazy, because it's kind of this is what I was thinking about earlier today too. It's like kind of psychological. If you hear that Golden Hour song, I want to just say that's one of the most popular right now on Instagram, at least. I'm sure TikTok's probably has a bajillion other ones. If you hear that song, you kind of like it, kind of like it's kind of like the Pavlovian effect, where like you're kind of expecting something, and it's always going to be based off of the first like 2 or 3 cycles of whatever that trend was at the beginning. So if people were using it for these kind of like very nice artsy aesthetic kind of videos, like, so this is what I saw, right? A lot of people using it for like either photography or like a sweeping kind of transition, or like something really beautiful, right? Which is cool. That's awesome. And that's how that's kind of how it imprinted in my brain, right? And so that's kind of what I associate with it. That's what I wanted to say. And that's fine for a while, but then you know, it just, people are like, it's like making a cup of coffee, and it's just not artsy or anything. Just fucking making a cup of instant coffee, and you hear dun, 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 just take a sip or something, and it's like, I don't know, I haven't actually seen a video like that. I'm just trying to give you an example of just like where it's like here's this might contextualize it, right? Like fucking Final Countdown, or like Eye of the Tiger, or like imagine Rocky doing his montage, and like how impactful that is, right? Now imagine every other movie for the next like 5 years that came out after that scene using that same exact song in the same type of montage. And tell me, look at my face right now and tell me that you would not be like, why the fuck is everyone using this same song in the same style of a montage? Like, people should be kind of maybe trying to do other stuff with these movies. Like, I want to see something different, okay? Tell me you wouldn't think that, because that's what I would think. Now, I get it. Hold your horses. I know. A movie and a fucking 30-second reel on Instagram are completely different things. I totally understand. But if you extrapolate things down or up, whichever way you want to go, at some point, it still becomes pertinent to the point I'm trying to make. And that is, maybe it's not as much of a huge deal when it's just another reel, or a couple hundred people use the same thing on a reel. But when it goes on for a year and a half and people have, it's even gone from like using it in maybe what it's almost like it's an emotionally intended way, and just being used because it's trendy and popular, and people will have that Pavlovian kind of like effect where they're gonna probably they're gonna have more retention for something because they know that fucking song. When it becomes like that over the span of a year or 2 years, which is already crazy for something where normally the cycle is a lot shorter, and we're turning over and having new songs or new sounds and stuff pop up, right? Like the Golden Hour, or like that one like Ghost of Chicago song or whatever, it's got to be at least almost a year, right? Which is kind of amazing in its own right. Like, props to them for sticking around that long. But you just have this weird degradation of the quality of the thing, and it becomes this weird amalgamation that kind of like those crazy words I'm throwing out there. It becomes this weird amalgamation of everything it's supposed to be and not supposed to be at the same time. And to me, it just becomes very inauthentic. And it bugs me to no end when, like, I just want to see people trying a little bit harder to come up with some more original stuff, in the very general sense of like the community of like artists on Instagram. I'm mostly just talking Instagram here because I don't really follow a lot of stuff on TikTok, but I still see TikTok stuff, and I still keep a little bit of my eye on it because, you know, I want to know what's going on, right? And it's turned into something weird. And I definitely am having a boomer moment here. I'm not a fucking boomer, but, you know, where it's like a Principal Skinner moment in Simpsons, where it's just like, am I getting old? No, it's the children. They're just weird. That's one of my favorite memes. I think this is like the third Principal Skinner meme I've said on Doodle Talk. But I hope if you're listening right now, you don't think I'm crazy. And please let me know if it bothers you when you see like too much of something, right? Because here's the thing. I always, balance is so important for everything. I love yin and yang because it's not actually, you know, just teaching you about like good and evil. It's telling you that there's a balance in the world and that there's an appropriate amount of each thing. And to have a harmonious world, it needs to have some kind of balance, right? Not to get all woo-woo crazy here, but like, balance to me is so important. So important. And so is harmony. I love music so much because it just deals with these things of like finding the balance between like dissonance and harmony, and, you know, how you want to arrange things, right? This is kind of how I look at all this stuff. And when, like, don't get me wrong too, like, there's so many cool, like, a lot of these, the kind of like low poly 3D animators that I've been finding and stuff, they're all doing stuff where I'm like, that is so cool. Most of it's super original. Yes, it's within its own niche, so you're gonna expect like, oh, I'm gonna hear like some like really high paced, like 4 on the floor, like break beat drums or whatever. I'm gonna look it up later, I promise. So there's an aesthetic that I can expect, but same with like lo-fi, or same with like synthwave or something like that. I'm gonna like, oh, this is a VHS retro video. I'm gonna bet there is a nostalgic 80s sounding synthwave song that's about to happen, and then it happens, right? Trust me, I've used it. Like, I love that style. That's why I want to use it. And it's okay. It's okay to be part of a niche or a genre, a group of people that do things, right? That's how you make a community, and that's how you build a style. But when it's, like I was saying, when it's just for the sake of it being trendy and popular, that's where it gets really dangerous, and you just start teetering on the line of like, are you just using this because you know it's gonna get views? Like, are you using this properly? Do you even know who this artist is? Do you even care? Like, there are things that start to happen where, and again, I'm sorry I always have to preface this or include it in what I'm saying. I'm talking just about for people that are like making their own art and like artists that are like putting themselves out there. If you are not an artist, or you're just doing stuff for fun and you want to use whatever sound or song or any kind of trend, please do not let me deter you from doing that. I would never want to do that. That's not really who I follow most of the time anyways, so it's like, I'm just talking about this in the eyes of like the artistic community and all the artists and creators out there, where it's like, sometimes, myself included, I'm not like perfect, you know. We could do better about like trying to be original, you know. Like, I mean, I'll try to speak for myself. I don't really do trends. I did the let me do it for you, dog. I did like a little fun Zelda animation with that. I guess that's like the closest thing I've come to like jumping on a trend. Just because it was, then I still, no problems. I had a lot of fun making that, you know. But I'm just not very good. I'm not good about like immediately producing work with stuff too. So trends are hard for me to like actually get on in a timely manner. But I've done little things here and there where I'm like, you know, copying what other people do, or like seeing something that I like, trying to apply it to mine, and it's just adding to the bog of like repetitive kind of recycling, cyclical kind of things, right? I'm not perfect. I've done things that I would be like, hey, you shouldn't do that, if I was like looking at it right now from this soapbox that I'm on right now, right? So I just want to preface with that too. And if you're not a creative person, no hate. I don't even hate any of the people that are doing this trendy stuff. It's just worrying me as an artist, seeing the community of like just in general. And I know it's also just like, this is not the best view of like the whole art community in total, but it's even just like, I don't know. It's hard, right? Because you're only seeing one aspect of it through your algorithm, but it's like, normally I wouldn't complain about it like this if it was like kind of, if I knew it was really just contained, but I do see it a lot kind of like seep into all facets of like artists and people creating things. And I just think, I think we should just take a moment before we do something that's super trendy, or just like ride a wave of trendiness. Like, take a moment to see like if it's something you really actually think you should be doing, or if you really honestly think it's going to help you, like promote you, or like get some some eyeballs, or like help you out, right? Because this is the so like kind of bring it all back together, tie it up and end this thing. It's like, it comes back to like, should you do trendy things? Should you use some of these songs, some of these sounds, and like, should you use them just willy-nilly without even thinking about it, and without even just like considering if you, because here's the worst case scenario, right? I'll do the best case scenario and the worst case scenario that I can think of. Worst case scenario is everyone jumps on the same trends and just becomes a giant circle jerk of like everyone doing the same fucking shit. You're gonna hear the same 4 sounds and the same 4 songs on every goddamn TikTok and reel. Every 3 months it cycles through and starts a new one, but that's all you're gonna see. That's literally all you're gonna see. And even when it seems like it's like genuine content, or somebody comes up with something that's like cool and fun to watch, it's gonna be ruined because they're gonna just be using the same shit, right? That's the like absolute worst case scenario, where if nobody had any respect and they all just said, fuck it, we'll just use the same shit. Best case scenario is I'm overreacting, and it's just partly biased because of just what I've seen the past year or two from my own algorithms and stuff like that. And most people are just using it to promote, like put out little smaller things, or it's just a story that they wanted to put out that day, or a short little reel, and they're still working on a lot of cool art stuff in the background, right? That's the best case scenario. And I couldn't tell you which one is real. Sure, I'm probably overreacting a little bit, but it's just something that's worried me, so I wanted to talk about it in a really earnest way. And of course, like I said, like it's not a real huge problem, but it's just personally for me, I do get annoyed sometimes when it's just like you see the same shit over and over and over. And like not being then, and if it's just the what I'm seeing's fault, then it's like it sucks that you can't get out of it, right? That it's like can't just reset my algorithm and do stuff like that. So maybe I'm shifting too much blame on the actual artists as well, and could be thinking like, well, what is Meta doing to just promote the same kind of shit over and over, and not letting these kind of like other types of art and music kind of like come up to the top where they might get noticed by somebody like me who wants to see that kind of stuff, right? So there's also that too, you know. I really hadn't thought too much about that. So there you go. That's another thing that I probably should have considered more of. But I think that's basically my feelings on it. I've just been really annoyed lately, and who knows, maybe it's just like a weird thing that I'm kind of noticing, and it won't be as prevalent like a month from now or something. I'll check back in on this if I think it gets like way too much, and if I notice. But I do also want to say I notice a lot of artists like themselves like taking the time to do these kind of like trendy things, and foregoing the actual like art or like creating kind of aspect, and it's like you're just making a trendy video because it's trendy, because this thing is trendy. And I don't think that's good. That's something whether it's the algorithms giving it to me or me just noticing it on my own, the problem there is the same. And it's something that I think we just got to be a little bit careful of as artists and a community. It's a global community now, which is beautiful, but it also means there's like, it's easier for people to steal artwork, repost it without permission or without consent. And you know, AI is a whole bag of shit that we got to worry about too. I do want to talk about AI again soon, but I think I need a little bit more time, and I think I want to see how it's evolving a little bit more. But yeah, there's so many things that are beautiful, but also worrying about having this kind of crazy interconnected global artist community, and just knowing that if we all just start doing the same kind of trendy stuff over and over, we're gonna lose some of the originality and the beauty of like what it means to be just like a gang of artists, and like everyone like being inspired by other people, but also like using that inspiration and motivation to further your own stuff, your own style, your own whatever you're making, right? And I do want to just say as like a closing thought too, the more that like all your content, all your stuff you make is just trendy, you're not going to appear very original, and people aren't going to expect much original creativity from you. And that's just something to think about and just notice that might be going on in the background. Whereas if you do want to try and be a little bit more creative and forward thinking, it's probably going to be a little bit rougher and harder to get out there. But I think this is most people would say, right? It's like those creative forward thinking people, once they get up to a certain point, they really like, once you get up out of the trees, that's who stands out, and that's who everyone notices, and then that's who everyone gravitates towards. So that's something to keep in mind there. That's not just me saying that. Like, I know a lot of people have said that. That's a lot of what a lot of, you know, like older professional artists would say too. So just keep that in mind, everyone. And I don't know. I don't want to sound like a hater here, but I want to be able to talk about these kinds of topics, right? And I don't want to backpedal on anything. I believe 100% everything that I said in this episode. So I really hope it didn't come off like I'm hating. I'm not trying to hate. It's an observation I've been making over the past year or so, especially in the past month. And I don't really hear people talking about it. I hear people mostly talking about how to like get in on the trends and like how to use it smart, which is another thing, right? That's another thing. But I don't hear people talking about like the dangers of this kind of stuff. So I thought I'd bring it up, put it on the table, and you know, if other people are interested, and I'd love to hear what you think about that. But yeah, let me know if there's like something that you really hate that's like a trendy kind of thing on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Because I'd be really interested to know if it's like just me or if other people know about some of this other stuff. But thank you to this for listening to this rambly episode. No hate, all love to all the artists and the musicians and the people. Like, dude, if you got a song that's killing it, even if it's just a single and you don't even have other music that you're planning on making, I don't care. That's awesome that it's not a label just stealing all your money anymore and stuff like that. So just all things considered, I still think this is all awesome and beautiful and great. Just something I noticed that I was a little worried about. So thank you for listening and watching to this week's Doodle Talk, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.